Today on Crisis in the Toyverse, your host Bob O'Mac plays with fire as he looks at the DC Collectibles Legends of Tomorrow Firestorm figure. Now that we've got the cheesy puns out of the way, let me start this review by saying I really love the sculpt on this figure. I think it looks fantastic. It looks like the actor. It's got a decent amount of accessories, and the suit is sculpted very nice, and the paint is applied very nicely. So now that I'm done blushing over this, I will point out a couple of flaws in terms of articulation that we've come to expect with the DC Collectibles Arrowverse figures. But let's dive into the sculpt and articulation and all that other jazz that follows suit, and we'll get this show rocking and rolling. So let's bring this bad boy in for a moment and look at why Firestorm is a personal favorite of mine from DC Collectibles. Let's focus in on that head. And that head looks fantastic, folks. Very nicely done with the fire effect on top. Some people would like a little more fire on their Firestorm figure. I'm always in favor of more fire and more atoms and protons and things of that nature. But for what is there at the $20 price point, I can't complain. And he's loaded with a ton of accessories, which I'll be talking about more in a few. As for the suit itself, I really like the way it's sculpted. It's painted very nicely. I don't have any issues. Got some nice wash here. You got some wrinkles and some designs here. Look at those hands. Let's just bring that in. Have the camera focus. Those hands look wonderful. And then we got the other hand here looking awesome. But more on that in a bit. Here's the top of the suit. Bottom of the suit. And his cute little shoes that go along with this little Firestorm figure. So overall, not bad. Let's talk articulation. In terms of articulation, his head can move not really that far up. It can move down further than it can move up. Can go side to side. And it can spin all the way around and do the exorcist thing. As for the arms, they go out that much. They go down like that. They go up and around and downtown. He's got a hinge at the elbow that gives you about 90 degrees, which is very nice. He's got a hinge in the, what's that thing called? Come on, folks, help me here. Oh, the hand. It's got a hinge, and it can move all the way around. Same thing on the other side. For the upper body, oh, there we go. It popped off. You pull it onto back, and you pull on it, make it go back too much, it does pop off. Not the end of the world. So we got a diaphragm joint here. A really kind of ugly looking one. But it can go down that much. It can go back that much. It can turn all the way around. Wow. Really all the way around. And it popped off again. Isn't that fantastic? And he's got a waist cut here that allows it all the way around. And this is the part of the articulation that makes me cry. It's the part that makes me sad inside. Right off the bat, he does not have a thigh cut, which is kind of a bummer. Oh, before I forget, let me go back to the upper articulation. I wish this diaphragm joint, as well as the head, would allow for a better flying pose. It's just something I would like, but unfortunately I'm not getting, and I want to point that out. But back to the lower body. No thigh cut, which really sucks. But his thighs can go out that much. I'm not testing it any further because I don't want Mr. Firestorm here to break. They can go up that much. And they can go back quite a bit. Double jointed knees. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? And the foot articulation, which is another sore spot for me. As you can see, the hinge goes up and down. I'm fine with that. It's got ankle pivot, which is nice. But No cut. Nothing anywhere. Some people like that, some people don't. If he doesn't have a thigh cut, I wish he had a foot cut. Something. But unfortunately, that's not the case here, is it? Fortunately, DC Collectibles likes to piss me off. No, I'm just kidding, DC Collectibles. It is frustrating, but hey, I understand. You got masters that you're slaves to. I get it. Anyways, so that covers articulation. Let's dive into the accessories, folks. And here we are looking at accessories. Wow. Can't talk tonight. Very strange. Very strange indeed. So, let's cover the head sculpts. Mr. Jackson's head here in his non-flame form. Get the camera to focus. Looks awesome. The Arrowverse figures tend to a lot of times suck in terms of what they look like in real life. But in this case, I think it looks pretty spot on, to be quite honest with you. Although his face does look like, hey, I gotta take a big poop. But it's not the end of the world. And we'll just show the fire head again so you can see it. It's pretty much the same sculpt. Although he looks a little more possessed than pooping. But as I said, oh, there goes the head. The flame effects on the head look really good. And we got this translucent fireball shooting hand. Sculpted and painted very nicely. Flame effects shooting out there. Very cool. And then you got a set of fists. And then you got the open flame hands, which I'll bring one in here real quick just so you can see it. Get the camera to focus. It's done very nicely. Pretty freaking sweet, right? And then we have a more relaxed Firestorm. His hands are relaxed. Maybe he's reading a book. Maybe he's fixing something. Maybe he's cooking dinner. But they're there. And overall, a very welcome set to the figure. And it almost makes up for the lack of articulation in some places on the figure. But now that we've covered all that fun stuff, let's do some size comparisons and wrap this show up. Alright, size comparison. So here's Mr. Jackson next to the happiest woman in the DC universe. That being Wonder Woman right now. And on his other side is the most selfish man on television today, Barry Allen, the Flash. As you can see, he fits in nicely with this scale. There are other scales, but they're pretty perfect right here, which I really enjoy. So let's wrap this show up and let me hit that magical button and we'll call it a day. Gotta love editing, folks. It's a wonderful thing. So in conclusion, the Firestorm figure looks fantastic. It fits in great with the Arrowverse figures that have been released so far. The articulation, I will say, I think is better than what it was on the Hawk Girl figure. It could be a little better, but it's not horrible. It's workable, is the phrase I would use. So, should you pick this up? If you're a fan of the show, absolutely. If you're digging this character, yeah, why not? Put him on display. It'll be fun. You can pose him. You can make him the talk around the water cooler. You can do a lot of things with this guy. But he can't change a tire for you. And he can't do your groceries. So, that's going to do it here for the review. Thank you as always for tuning in. Join us next time as we look at more figures. Follow Undercover Capes by checking out the links below. Follow me by checking out the additional links below. Please like and subscribe. Share with a gnome. Share with a werewolf. Share with a yeti. Share with your grandmother. But please share if you enjoyed the show today. And stay tuned at the end for this slideshow. And if you want to feature toy art, use the hashtag ToyLoverCrew. And until next time, friends, tally ho!